Hi there and welcome to this video. In this video we will be exploring an exercise in colour mixing. So the intention is to extend the invitation to you to explore variation and to hopefully discover something that gets those creative juices flowing and makes you feel inspired to explore further and dive deeper into your creative practice.
So these are my three colours that represent the primary colours. They are not by any means the traditional primary colours. These are just the ones that I have in my collection and work with frequently. So for red, I'm using Brilliant Magenta, which is more of a pink, but it takes the place of red. I've got Cobalt Turquoise Light, which takes the place of blue, and Indian Yellow, which is the yellow. So for this exercise, you'll just need a few brushes, you'll need your paints, bit of paper. This here, what I'm using as a palette is some old photo paper, which is glossy, and I find that that is really helpful to prevent your palette surface from drawing the moisture out of your paints. Though you will see as we go along that I use virtually anything available as a palette. So no hard and fast rules. This is essentially just an exercise to ignite your interest and invite you to play. So when it comes to paint mixing, a knife is going to save your brushes, but you will see me switching to using the brushes as we go along. So just for the initial part of the process, I'm going to be using a knife. And also I've got 3 separate brushes here. And the reason for that is just so that I don't have to completely wash out my brushes every time I put paint down. So typically this exercise is done in a circle, so to create a colour wheel, but I thought just for the purpose of this exercise today that I would approach it slightly differently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a bit of each of my colours. So I've got my pink or red, as would be the primary colour. Got my turquoise, which is my blue, and yellow. So those are my primary colours. What we're going to be doing is mixing the colours in between. So to create green, we're going to create a scale, colour scale in between these 2 colours. To create purple, we're going to have a scale in between these 2 colours, and the scale of orange. We'll do the colours in between these 2. Right. So to find the middle tone, which will help you to sort of create that scale, I'm going to mix equal parts, or as equal as I can manage, of each of these colours. So obviously this is an eyeballed quantity. So it's never going to be perfect. But this is my green. At that center point between my yellow and my blue. Okay, so working on that basis, what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate out some of this and I'm going to add a bit of yellow. So we want to create like a noticeable shift in the color. So there's no like specific ratios or quantities I'm using. I'm just going by eye and watching how the color shifts, because we want to create a scale here. So going on the yellow side of this mid-tone, so you can see the color shifting towards the yellow. And I'm simply going to repeat this. Probably going to repeat it one more time. As you can see, I've left a gap for one more tone. And again, I want to create a noticeable shift between the colors. So I'm essentially just adding more of the primary until I feel that it's a noticeable scale. That looks pretty good to me. So you can see that there's these steps towards the mid-tone, and now I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So that's why I have saved half of the mid-tone that I created. So now I can take that and just add the blue to it. So the size of your page and also the size of the marks that you make will dictate how many shifts in color you'll create in your scale. There's no rules for how many you can do. I've just found that putting a bit of a limit on it allows for more of a noticeable shift in the colors, which illustrates that point a little bit more clearly. So personally, I find that going more in the direction of the blue, it's easier to create more of a variation that way than adding yellow. Like you typically, it feels to me like you need to add more yellow to create a noticeable variation in the color. So there you go. You've got a shift in the colour, and you can see how I could easily, if I used a larger piece of paper, I could easily create 1, 2, even 3 more tones in between these two. But you can see the point that I'm illustrating here. You're essentially just going to be creating this scale of colour that's going to give you an idea of the different tones and different shades that you can create with the paints that you have. So this next part of the video, I am going to speed up so you can watch the process of creating the scale. This is the result of this colour mixing exercise. So you can see that there's such a scale of variation here in all the different colours that we can create with those 3 base colours. So this is a further invitation for you to explore this colour scale. You can now take each of these colours and mix them with white in increasing volume to then create a further scale of different shades. The idea is to continue exploring, continue discovering what it is you can create with what's available to you, and hopefully discover something that you can use as fuel for your creative practice. So there you have it. That is our colour mixing exercise. I hope that this has held some value for you and that you have accepted the invitation to explore. The more you explore, the more you discover, and the more inspiration will flow to you. I'll see you in the next one.